saying preparing to live stream.
All right. Just refresh this.
All right, we are live.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. As you know, we gotta do what we do every week. We gotta send out the links, let everybody know that we're live. Just give us a quick second. As you see, we do have a special guest
Yes, we
today.
do. Yeah.
And we'll definitely get more into who this gentleman is and why he's on the show. So just give us a quick second. Let us know how your week's been. We weren't on last week. We had some things to do behind the scenes. But let us know how your week's been in the comment, or if you're here live, let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
We definitely like to hear from our usual suspects and everybody that tunes in. So yeah, just give us a quick second while we send out these links, and we'll get this show started real soon.
Yes, we do have a live chat group that goes in there. So we call them the usual suspects.
Usual suspects.
Yes, they
Yeah.
come by every time, every week. They're there commenting. Smart. Everybody, the usual suspects, some of the best guests. We don't have viewers, we have guests.
Loyalty.
So
awesome.
Make them feel welcome because they it's the
Send
people
your
that help.
links. Send your links.
I'm sending
Okay.
links. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm just shouting out the usual suspects. That's all.
Okay.
They're awesome. Awesome.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure. Get
Yeah.
those links out there and let's do this. I'm gonna beat you.
All right.
I have 2 more.
Okay, here we go. Boom.
Oh.
Bam. Got that.
I'm just gonna act like I'm finished.
Oh.
He's got one more to go.
I do. I got one more. See?
This is what happens when you don't have assistants. Like they always on break or on vacation or non-existent.
Right? Here we go. Bam. Just like that. All right. That's my last one. All right, let's get this show going. I am ready.
Our usual suspects in the room.
Yes, we have the usual suspects. Everybody is starting to come into the chat. We have one of our followers says, "Hello, Mr. Marcus Flowers."
Hello.
That is one of our usual suspects. Tunes in all the way from Holland. So shout out to
Holland.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Nederlander.
Oh,
I don't even know what's that. I have no clue. What does that mean?
Dutch. Holland. Nederlander.
Well, I'm not gonna know.
Hey.
I spent a lot of time in Europe, so
Nice.
specifically in Holland. So
Wow.
Nice. That's awesome.
All right.
Well, my links are sent. How about you?
Sure. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do
ready.
it. All right, so we're about to get into it. Yo, what's going on, everybody? We about to, if this is your first time tuning in, we're a local online news show. We talk about local, national, and international news. I am your co-host, Casey, aka Frosty McNuggets.
I'm Lana Quest.
There we go. As you can see today, we do have a special guest in the building with us. We do have congressional candidate, Mr. Marcus Flowers, in the building today. Everybody, please give him a round of applause.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. So we're just gonna get right into it. For everybody that's tuning in that's not familiar with who you are, give us a little background.
Well, how do I follow up that intro? I mean, I'm going to try, though. I am Marcus Flowers, a Democratic Army veteran running for Congress against Marjorie Taylor Greene here in Georgia. Not former, I'm an Army veteran, so that makes me former Army, former soldier, former defense contractor, and former government official. I've lived in this district for 3 years solid. had to go out to Oklahoma for a while. I left the district in 2015, went out to Oklahoma for a couple of years, came back. But yeah, when I came back, there were a whole lot of things going on that I just really didn't approve of. So last summer, and I don't want to get ahead of you guys, so we're just going to call that the introduction right now. We'll move into why, get the meat and potatoes a little bit later. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead. I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. I'm excited to tell this story, as you can see.
I mean, we don't want to interrupt you either. So, tell as much as you want.
I'm going to let you control the flow, Miss Lana Quest.
Okay. Well, then, if you are ready, I'm going to ask some questions, of course.
I am ready.
All right. So let's jump into it. I do want to say thank you again. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate what you do. And it is like service to do what you're doing and running against who you are running up against. So that alone is something else.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So as a result of the voter suppression laws recently passed in Georgia, Will Smith pulled production of his movie, and the MLBA has pulled the All-Star game. Activists are calling for the boycott of Georgia as a whole. Okay. My question is, do you agree with boycotting the state, and why? And if not, what would you suggest in the alternative?
Okay, so I do not agree with boycotting Georgia. Let's think about that. Who does that hurt in the long run? Doesn't hurt the guys up on Martini Row, not one bit. Right. It hurts the everyday man, the middle class guy, the lower income wage earners who work at places like Home Depot and Coca-Cola and Aflac, all of our Georgia, facilities here, right, or staples here in Georgia. They're the ones who get hurt. And looking at the MLB pulling the All-Star game out of Atlanta was, particularly a tough pill for me to swallow. That was supposed to be about Hank Aaron. We just lost him recently. But I understand.
Right.
And what we need are our business leaders and community leaders to stand up, and they have. Delta's stood up. We're still waiting on a couple of them to speak out, but Tyler Perry spoke up, and that's what we need here to push back against this voter suppression law, SB 202, which is ridiculous. I mean, they're portraying it as some sort of, we want integrity in voting and make our elections fair and secure. However, the votes were counted 3 times, once by hand. So we know that there was no ballot harvesting. We know that, dead people weren't showing up to vote in mass, or there weren't any illegal votes. So what is this really about? Well, the Republicans, those were their laws that were on the books from before.
Right.
So then, now that we beat you at your own game,
right. You got to change the game.
Well, let's change the rules.
Change the rules.
Right.
Let's change the rules just a little here so that we can be fair. No, don't do that. Don't change the rules. Don't suppress the vote, especially the Black vote. Making it harder for people to cast ballots, hiding the ballot boxes inside of local businesses that are closed up, and people work 9 to 5, and they come and they can't get inside a business to cast their ballot. Making it harder to get absentee ballots. It's a bit much. And it's obvious that this is about one thing and one thing only: suppressing the vote. No one's under any illusions that it's not. So we're going to push back heavily on that. We've got some things planned coming up in the district, and we're going to get the vote out one way or the other. If this law is still enacted, I may be going to jail because I'm going to be out handing out water and food. I have a backpack with an orange and an apple in it, just like John Lewis did. And we're going to make sure people get out to the polls one way or the other.
Right. I did hear that Mayor Bottoms draft some type of, I don't know, was it a decree? But I know she's come up with something to start educating people around the new rules. So like, if this is what you're going to say we have to do, then I'm going to educate the masses on how to do what you're saying needs to be done.
We're going to get out the vote.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Well, Tim Scott says they're not being suppressed. So I mean,
Right.
I don't know. So I don't know what y'all are talking about. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I don't know what he's saying.
Well, no, I don't know what y'all talk about. Tim Scott says there's just not being suppressed and there's no racism.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to be critical of Senator Scott. Those are unfortunate statements, is what I'll say.
You're absolutely right. It is very unfortunate. You can leave the disrespect to us. All right, next.
Take it away, guys.
We understand.
We get it.
Right. Here's something that's a little near and dear to me. So environmental racism, a lot of people don't think about that. Black people really don't think about, Black and brown people, we really don't think about climate change and connect it with racism. So relative to Georgia, there have been some reports that identify that Georgia has like some of the most polluted soil, water, air, high densities of people of color living in those areas. Also, I read that in rural Georgia has the most poultry plants. So with those poultry plants comes carcinogens, air pollution, just all of that. And most of the labor force is people of color. So if you are sent to Congress, how would you advocate to put an end to environmental racism?
I mean, one of the things that we're definitely interested in is this infrastructure plan that the president is proposing. It's going to be important to our district, important for jobs. Now, the Green New Deal, do I support it as it is? I do not as it is. And I think there are a lot of good things in it. Right. I think there are a lot of good things, electric buses, they're looking at bringing those here, being manufactured in Georgia. I think the Green New Deal is a little bit too broad. Let's work on it a little bit and get it just right so that it supports everyone's agendas or needs. I'll put it that way. I'm personally for nothing that's not a net plus in job creation. Right. When we're talking about environmental pollution, I'm also for, we need to have smart regulations. As we saw in the last administration, a lot of the regulations were rolled back. We need to re-implement some of those because those were helping people of color, as you so eloquently stated, environmental pollution. We need to look at where housings are in relation to factories that pollute. And we need to, start looking at a carbon tax and things of that nature. Right. So there are a lot of things that, we can work on. And I think this new infrastructure plan, should it pass Congress, is a roadmap to getting to where we need to be. Right. I agree. But we can't throw everything at the wall and see if it sticks, because we know how Republicans are going to respond to that.
Right. Exactly. And the voters and independent voters, like you got to give them things like piecemeal, a little bit at a time. So I get it.
Which is why I say with the Green New Deal, it's a bit too broad.
Right.
It's too many things in one package. Let's take some of those things out and stick with the really good things that are in there that are very important. That's my take.
And that's a good
let's
idea.
get that done first. Things. I'm a bridge builder by nature,
right.
And I want to work on things that we can agree on, the common sense legislation. So that's I'd love to get in Congress and sit down and have a conversation with Representative Cortez about the Green New Deal and see where we can all find common ground so we can get things through that we can pass.
Right.
Maybe change the name because they've had a few years to beat it up a little bit.
They really have.
Right?
They really have. My goodness. Casey, you have some questions?
Yeah.
I'm sure you do.
I'm kind of going to switch it up a little bit. As you know, Biden has said that he wanted to, one, you being a veteran and serving your time and doing the military. One, I want to say thank you for doing that.
It was my pleasure to serve.
Keeping us safe, basically.
Yes.
Making sure we're able to, despite everything, do what we're doing now. Being able to live and just have the freedom we have. So thank you first for doing that.
It's my pleasure.
My grandfather was in the Navy before he passed. back in the day. So, but no, thank you.
My granddaddy was a sheriff, so
Wow.
Right.
uncles who served in
Definitely.
the Army. Yeah, service
Nice,
duty.
nice.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things that you learn coming up.
Right. So with that being said, Biden said that he wanted to bring all the troops back from Afghanistan. I think they might have pushed it up, but by
September.
September, yeah, by
11. Yeah.
September. Um, with that being said, what can you do if elected? As you know, like VA has had some problems in making sure that everybody's able to get service, get the things that they need, different care, things like that. With all the veterans and soldiers coming back, how will you help them kind of transition back into civilian life or just being there? How will
So
you help in that situation?
now you're kind of touching on a subject that's near and dear to my heart when you start talking about veterans issues. As I told you, as you know, I'm a veteran.
Right.
What you might not know is I'm a disabled veteran. I suffered a traumatic brain injury, and like many of my brothers and sisters in arms who have suffered traumatic brain injuries. One of the things I want to do is look at that criteria as far as the rating schedule goes. Again, right now it's at 40, 10, 40, 70, and 100. We need to look at that again because it's been that way since 2008. A traumatic brain injury is something that you live with the rest of your life. I deal with it on a daily basis. And I know my brothers and sisters in arms are also dealing with it on a daily basis. I want to look at that. VA hospitals, modernizing. One thing about that you may not know, the median age for a private hospital is 11 years. The median age for a VA hospital is 58 years. So we need to look at getting some of that infrastructure money and putting it towards our VA hospitals. Veteran suicide rate, it's 1.5 times higher than that of the rest of the population. And I think that's a travesty. That's something we definitely need to look at. Soldiers transitioning from military back into civilian life can be a hard transition. I want to make sure that our military veterans have a smoother transition. Look at look at ways to end veteran homelessness. That's something I want to look into. So veteran issues, like I said, that's one of the things that really I think about all the time. It keeps me up some nights thinking about my brothers and sisters who are thinking about committing suicide and things like that. We do a thing where we'll send, like on Facebook, we'll do 21 push-ups a day, when the suicide rate was that high. And it's around 17 a day now.
Wow.
Veterans that were losing to suicide.
That's
But back when we would do 21 push-ups a day, and then we'd call on another veteran to pick up that mantle. So there are a plethora of veterans issues that I would love to address in Congress. But we're still building that out. There's so many things. I'd love to get on one of the committees, Veterans Affairs or Military or Armed Services Committee, and discuss these things. Should I have the honor of being elected to Congress?
Right. Well, I definitely hope. So my next question actually is kind of along those lines, kind of about healthcare and mental health. We try to advocate mental health awareness on the show. We've actually had we've had series about mental health. And one of the things that you said was healthcare. And of course, you were just talking about mental health. If elected, what will you do to kind of let people know that, like how will you help people, be able to access mental health care, or how will you let people know it's okay if they are, treatment and things like that?
Well, let's just look at, I'm sorry, guys. Let's look at policing around mental health care. And, a lot of times people get the police called on them when they're suffering a mental health crisis. We need to look at how we address that. And the policing around that. Medicare for all, I'm not there, but I want to expand Medicaid. I think it's, we can do that here in Georgia. That should be a no-brainer. But mental health care is definitely something we need to look at, and we also need to take guns out of the hands of people who are, having mental health issues,
Right.
Things of that nature. My opponent, Marjorie Taylor Greene, supports everyone having a gun, even if they're on the domestic terrorist watch list. So that's, something we should definitely look at. Yeah.
Quite trouble.
Wow.
Go ahead.
No, did you want to have anything?
No,
else?
I didn't have anything else to add to that.
So I did want you to go back to, before the show. I know I have my lightning round, but we have a few more minutes. You were discussing what made you decide to run against Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I wanted you to tell the people, what made you jump into the ring with a woman who talks to lizards. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Space lasers.
Right,
Believes in that thing. Okay, so that's a bit of a long story that has a short ending. So let me take it back to May 25th of last year. And we know that date because it was the day that we all watched George Floyd being murdered. Before then, well, at that time I was a government official, of course. I did compliance with the government. I considered myself a nonpartisan. Had never thought about politics or, anything of that nature before. I come from, most people in our world say they're apolitical. I say I'm nonpartisan. I just never really considered it. But after that, I just started to look at activism a little bit. I got on social media for the first time in June, Twitter. The first time I'd ever decided to do something like that. So I started talking to people and I started listening to people, started talking to people in our district, and trying to find out how they felt about these things. And, in broader context, racism in America and, Confederate flags and things of that nature, and how people understood our shared history. And you'd be surprised, most people don't really understand our history because a lot of it's been so romanticized. I started finding out that people didn't really know our history as Black people, and think that, oh, none of us were around for slavery and it couldn't have been that bad, it was over so long ago, no one's alive now. And Confederate flag, that's heritage, not hate. Those are it's really hate. And trying to explain these things to people. So I started kind of getting into activism. Then I started hearing about Marjorie Taylor Greene and reading about her and listening to some of the things that she was saying. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, we can't have this person in our district. She won her primary against someone who I thought was a lot more qualified than she was, but she won. And there was a Democrat in the race at the time. He was running against her. So I decided, okay, maybe I'll help this guy out with the limited things that I can do, because, government official can't violate the Hatch Act. I had to stay out of it for the most part, but I could go out and hang out signs, knock on doors, things of that nature, do phone banking. So these are the things that I wanted to do to help him out. Well, he wasn't a very strong candidate and was able to be bullied out of the race. So that was unfortunate. And she became, a candidate who's running uncontested. So we knew she was going to win. I reached out to her and gave her a few opportunities to, walk back some of that stuff. A lot of these things you're saying, they're racist, whether you realize it or not. She never did, of course. It was crickets. So she gets elected. Shortly thereafter, I see her speaking in front of the Proud Boys, giving a speech. I was like, okay, so that's really who she is at that point in time. So now we've got a problem. Now I'm thinking more and more about politics. Then January 6th happens. For me to see a Confederate battle flag paraded through the Capitol Rotunda, to see police officers, I remember I come from a family of law enforcement officers, my grandfather, my uncles. That was a bit much. That was a bridge too far. So the very next day, January 7th, I called my supervisor and said, I'm resigning my position as a government official. I'm going to run for Congress. He wasn't surprised in the least,
Wow.
which was odd. And I had a friend call me from Germany. He said, we always knew you were going to go into politics. I was like, hey, I never thought about this, but that was a catalyst for me. That was a catalyst for me. That's when it became mission critical. It's time to do something.
Right.
So I got out of the government and, started mounting a campaign.
Wow.
That's where we are today.
Hey, good for you. And it is mission critical.
Mission critical. For a lot of reasons.
Oh, man.
That woman. But so I know we're going to wrap it up because, you gave us a little time and we do appreciate that.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't do the whole hour.
No, that is
totally
fine. We'll take what we can get. We crammed a lot in. People got some information from you. So yay. Can we do the speed round? We have time.
Let's do the lightning round.
All right.
We got a few minutes.
Lightning round. Let's
All
get
right.
it.
We got a few minutes. All right. The first concert you've ever attended.
First concert I ever attended. Now you're asking me to think way back. First real concert that was not like a Christian church concert that we used to go to. I think the first real concert was Blues Traveler.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Country group?
No, they were kind of pop back in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
But the next one was Dave Matthews. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes, the Dave Matthews Band. Got that. Okay. This is hilarious. The next question.
They're in the same vein. Dave Matthews, Blues Traveler. Pretty much the same type of music.
And I think that you just answered the second question with your first question. On the scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
Oh.
Now, are we taking this from the perspective of my kids or people that
what do you think? No, what do you think? No, we don't want to know what other people. We already know what we know what the kids think.
I'll give myself on the cool meter, maybe a 7. Who knows?
Hey,
okay. That's a tough one.
Nice.
One thing you own, you wish you did it. One thing. Yeah.
Oh. One thing that I own, or my wife and I, is this treadmill. That's
you wish you didn't own it.
To the wrong person.
I wish we didn't own that thing. I wanted a bike, but hey, it's a treadmill. So what are you gonna do?
So she makes you get on the treadmill, and you're like,
I played the fifth on that one.
Okay, one thing you don't own and you wish you did.
An RV.
I want an RV.
But my wife would never go for it because she likes going to the beach. I want to hit the mountains. So
describe yourself in 3 words.
Even keeled. Those are 2 words. Measured.
Okay. Even keeled.
And so we're gonna give even keeled a 1 word. Serious when I need to be.
Okay. We see that. If you could be anyone for the day, who would it be?
Anyone for the day. Who's got anyone for the day? That's a good question. Who's got the coolest job? Maybe Jimmy Kimmel. That'd be.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Cool guys.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would have.
Give me a week as Jimmy Kimmel talking with people. So yeah.
That's pretty good. Most people think superheroes, but that's really good.
I like that. I
like talking with. Kimmel. I like talking with interesting people. So.
Yeah. All right. 3 more questions, and you can go. If you were famous, what would you be famous for?
I was famous. What would I be famous for? Maybe my last name. Who knows?
Yeah. Nice. What advice did you get that was the most rewarding?
I will draw it in context of this campaign. The most rewarding advice that I got was from Ambassador Young. He told me, focus on your campaign, not so much what other people are doing.
Nice.
So that was, getting advice from a civil rights icon who you never thought you'd be able to talk to. That was
right.
That's
That
been the
is
most rewarding advice in this experience.
that's good.
That's
Who's
awesome.
more handsome, you or Max?
Oh, I guess it's got to be Max. He's he got more clicks than I did on social
Max is
media.
his dog.
It's got to be Max.
Last
Oh,
question. If you could change any current bill,
Hmm.
which would it be? Bill or legislation?
I would implement the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Okay. Yay.
That would be a
well,
change.
I have one more before we officially close everything down.
Okay.
If there's one thing that our viewers, potential voters, people stopping by, if there's one thing that you want them to take away from tonight, what would that be? Whether it be something you said or something you couldn't say, what would that one thing be?
Just listen to what the president said last night. America's coming back. We're going to, we're going to push back on a lot of the hate that's been perpetuated for the last several years. We need to send, a lot of these bad actors back into the shadows. Maybe I didn't say that, but that's something that we need to focus on. Our larger and broader fight is going to be against the QAnon, the misinformation, the disinformation that's permeating our, public discourse lately. We've got to push back on that and try to meet people where they are. Those people who, let that stuff seep in and they believe some of it, practice a little patience.
Right.
Changing people is hard. It's a hard thing that we're asking people to do, to look back on things that they were taught as children from their parents, from their teachers, people that they trust, growing up. That was wrong. So practice a little bit more patience, meet people where they are, and let's love one another. Simple as that. Not to get too sappy about it, but
Yeah.
it's
No, but
really.
that people need to hear that. People
Yeah.
need to hear that.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you,
Thank you guys for having me.
You're
thank you.
welcome. Before we close out, usual suspects, we are going to continue the show with some games and some quick news. So you guys stay. Thank you, Mr. Flowers.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
thank
having
you,
me once again.
and good luck
Good night.
on the race.
Yes.
Hey, thank you.
Yes.
We're going to
Good
make this
night.
happen. Good night.
Night.
Hey.
There was. I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Mr. Congressional candidate Marcus Flowers. We'll have a link for his website where you can go learn more about him. If you like what he said, you can definitely donate to his campaign, help him out, because he can have the right message. But unfortunately, the way these campaigns work, you got to have the fun. And he's going up against, unfortunately, again, a very big candidate. She does have a lot of supporters, people who fund her. So if you can do your part, $5, $10, help them out, let them get elected. So yeah, we'll have all that information in the description
Yeah.
of the show.
Yay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. He was great.
It was
I
great. It was good. We got stuff in. I was afraid we weren't going to have enough time, but we did it right.
Yeah,
In
it was
30
good,
minutes.
and unfortunately, all the usual suspects. I did see you guys' questions. I
I know
could not get to
he
them.
only gave us 30 minutes, guys. It
I
was
couldn't. I seen them. I kept looking back and forth
no,
because I wanted to pay attention. I'm like, dang,
no.
oh. So
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a military guy, so time is for real for him. Like
right,
he gave us and we went a little over. So
right. He had a master clock behind the phone.
yeah, it was
That's what that
for
was.
real. It was for real. So do you guys want to do some quotes?
We got some quotes.
Everybody got some quotes. Um, these quotes, well, it's not unfortunate, but they're going to probably be from last week since we didn't have a show last week. These were for last week, so these aren't going to be this week's sayings. It's going to be like last week's saying.
So you got to put on your thinking caps. But I know y'all. Y'all too
Yeah,
smart.
no, they're smart. They're smart.
got
They're
this.
smart. You guys ready? You guys ready? Well, first, I do want to say rest in peace to Black Rob and Shock
Yes.
G because we did lose them. It's awful. Gosh, three big rap guys. Like
within the same week.
That's the culture. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay. First quote. Never give up hope that we can make enduring change. This was 2 weeks ago. This person is an attorney.
Never give up hope.
That we can make enduring change. Brent said I'm about to put on my glasses. I know I was trying not to. I was literally trying. I was trying not to put these glasses on.
Oh man.
That's hilarious. Let me get them glasses on. Never give up hope that we can make enduring change. Very close. Not Crump, but that is very, very, very close. So African American. His son.
Attorney.
His son is in politics as well. He used to be in Congress. Not the prosecutor. Well, I mean, Jerry, you said.
Is it? I have an idea, but I could be wrong.
Right. So let me clarify for Jerry. Not. I don't know which prosecutor you're saying, because, like, I'm confused. So you have to clarify. Not Jim Scott. So okay. Minnesota. Big attorney. Prosecutor's office. If it wasn't for him, there would have been no indictment of Chauvin. There we go. That's the last hint.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
If it was not for this man, there would not have been an indictment. Keith Ellison.
I was about to say Kevin. I was thinking Kevin. I don't know why.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we have said since the beginning of What's Up People News, you have to vote in every election, because if Keith Ellison was not elected the Attorney General in Minnesota, there would probably be no indictment if we had the wrong Attorney General there. Or the prosecution would have been awful, or they wouldn't have really tried. You know what I mean? So important. Next.
Very important.
Yeah. Next quote. No one should be so powerful that they can violate the law if this country. Oh, wait. No, sorry.
Oh.
Can't read my writing with glasses on. Oh my God. Sorry.
Oh.
No one should be so powerful that they can violate the law of this country without any consequence.
No one should be so
powerful that they can violate the law of this country without any consequence. Okay, so it's a woman. She's in Congress.
Lady in Congress. Lady in Congress.
No one should be so powerful that they can violate the law of this country without any consequence. Oh, good. No, not the VP. So not Garland.
Maxine.
Oh, yes. Very good.
Got my thinking cap on today. Ain't that something?
Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters. That's when she was saying those things that were getting her in trouble.
Those words, everybody was saying.
All right. Here's next. This was in relation to, so 2 weeks ago, they were holding hearings on Black women and healthcare because Black women die at high rates having during childbirth. So they were talking about maternal care of Black women because it's been ignored. So this is where this quote is coming from. Black women deserve to be heard and treated with respect. This person was a part of this hearing or this call for action. Black women deserve to be heard and treated with respect. She's a very powerful Black woman, or woman of color, not Klobuchar. Or are they on? Yes, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
Mary said, I'm like,
Mary said Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's out here caping for Black women. Imagine if Marjorie Taylor Greene said that.
Oh man, her
what
would explode. But real quick, talking about that, I did have, and I don't have, unfortunately, I can't find my last. But I did have. There was a lady by the name of, her last name was Daly, Nancy Daly. I can't remember, but her last name was Daly. And the reason why I want to talk about her and women's health, well, not necessarily women's health, but she was the one who basically found our DNA sequence, our DNA code, and like was able to map it out, figure out what genes do what, how to repair that. Like she was like groundbreaking. Wow. And based on her science and her discovery, a lot of the medicine, a lot of the treatments that we use, how certain like doctors pull out DNA, how they sequence the DNA, a lot of the techniques that these world-renowned doctors use and incorporate is based off of Miss Daly's discovery of what DNA is, how to find it, all of that. So I'll try to find more information about her, try to put that in the description. But she was a beast. Again, without her discovery, we wouldn't have the vaccine.
Right.
You know, because even though that's dealing with RNAs and all of that, that's based off her studies and her figuring out what DNA is and how to sequence it and all that. Like, so again, she was a pioneer, first Black lady to be a doctor and be able to discover that. So I wanted to shout that out.
Shout out to Daly.
Yes.
I have to tweet about her.
Yes, she was a beast. She was a beast.
Last quote. What we are really seeing is mob justice. This was a trial about whether the media was powerful enough to create a simulation and decide upon a narrative that was absent of any facts. Shh. Don't say nothing.
We in the Matrix.
What we are really seeing is mob justice. This was a trial about whether the media was powerful enough to create a simulation and decide upon a narrative absent of any facts. It sounds like Tucker Carlson. And very, very close.
Oh.
Very close. Like this person was on Tucker Carlson. That's how close. I don't want to, if I give a hint, you guys are going to know. Like there's no hint I can give This person is African American.
Read the quote one more time. Read the quote one more time. One more time.
Oh, someone got it. Michelle got it. Michelle with
Miss
one L got it.
Michelle with one L.
Candace Owens. It's like I couldn't, if I say black woman, and who else is gonna say that kind of mess? Like who mob justice? Like, oh girl, Candace, be quiet. Just stop it. You're
She she's
awful.
she's she's
Ugh,
she's it's sad. It's very sad.
yikes. Those are the quotes. That was fun, guys. You guys are so smart. Ben
Wow.
Carson. Yes, it did sound like Ben Carson. Anyway, Tim Scott. It is Tim Scott too. Because Tim Scott thinks there is no racism as well.
Did you see his face though? Like he was really like he just seemed he seemed like he seemed sad. Like he knew what he was saying was BS. Was
He's a
like
good actor. He delivered the hell out of that lie. Are you kidding me? Like he
man, listen.
delivered that lie. I'm like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, he is acting. They said, get out there, boy, and make sure you make this believable. And he sure did. So
Yo, so sad.
so
Oh
what do you
man.
want to talk about? Our last
So
few minutes.
so we got a couple more minutes before we close out the show. Um, did you kind of want to get into Biden's family plan?
Sure, let's go.
Get
What do you
get
think
into that
about
a
it?
little bit.
What did you think about his speech?
I want a job.
Yeah.
Jobs. Um, no, it was good. I'm glad that people are able to, if you have a baby, you want to take the time. We need that. Other countries around the world, some of them have 12 weeks. Other countries you're allowed a whole year.
Yeah. We have to
So
do short-term disability, like when I had my children, because there was no maternity leave you don't get paid for. So
yeah,
the companies that I was at, we did short-term disability. So we were able to be paid through the short-term disability.
and that's funny because that's actually I had to freaking been my supervisor because at the time when my son was being born, I was doing security. And I'm like, yo, they wanted me to work. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not working on the day my son's being born. Like, and they
Mhm.
made a big deal about it. I'm like, yo, no, that's like, and at that time, I didn't understand anything about like maternity leave. Or, I didn't know anything about that. So it was just like, they didn't say, oh, like I had to call different people and be like, yo, this is crazy. Like, how are you not letting me go? And finally they was like, oh, well, you can sign that little paper. You're not gonna get paid, but you'll still have a job after it's over. I'm like, yo, you guys whack. But,
Yeah.
like, so that for him to do that for new parents and all of that, I know that's
Yeah.
big relief.
Yeah.
And I'm glad about the college situation.
Yeah.
I think I might want to go back to school.
Yeah.
Like I'm dead ass. Like I might go to a 2-year college real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's good.
I mean, it
There's
makes sense because all of this is going to ultimately um, fight poverty. People just need a starting chance, and Republicans don't get that, and they're hella pissed because you know how they are about safety nets. They
unless you're a major corporation
don't
and
like,
they're people too. So
exactly, they don't like. They think that this is a handout, but they were also happy to get handouts, during the pandemic, but
right.
help anyone else out. It's like it is a proven fact. If women, particularly single household, single father, single mother, if you are paying for daycare or you're helping them pay for daycare, how the plan is for, I guess you don't pay over 7% of your income, you can afford to put your kids in daycare. Like you can't
Hmm.
you can't if you don't have a job, how do you go and look for a job if you can't afford to put your children in daycare? Like it's a catch-22, and
Hmm.
it's like no
Hmm.
one's getting that. People don't want to be broke. It's like people
No,
want to
no,
work. People want
and
jobs.
yeah, and it's for me. I would take it a step. I would take it even a step deeper. Like that changes your mental state. Because
Right.
again, like that's why I asked about about the healthcare, because mental health and healthcare in general uh, is very important, and mental health is important to me personally. I know it's important to you as well, but just because knowing that now I'm able to, just like the example you said, if I don't have a job, how can I afford that? Now there's a situation to where I can get help now.
Right.
Now I have a better outlook. I have, there's hope. There's a chance, I can do better, get out of this situation,
Right.
you know, and yeah, you might not be able to quantify that, but I guarantee you people that just that little bit will help.
But it
Like even
works.
just knowing like, oh snap, I can do this now. Even if you are situated, you got a good job.
Right.
You might be living check to check.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a
Right.
good portion of that check is going to daycare because daycare is expensive.
Very, very.
Especially if you want to go to, if you want your kid to be in a nice place, not even talking about high end, just a decent place.
Right.
Expensive.
Right.
And that's half, I'm gonna say it's half your check, but that's a good portion.
Right. Right.
And it's like, dang, I gotta pay for this, but you know, again, going to the bills, lights, mortgage or rent, like it's so I'm glad. I'm glad. That's
Yeah,
that's
it,
that's
it
how I feel about
it's proven that it works because there are some test cities that are, I forget what you call it because there's a name for it, where they give certain families of a certain income, there were test groups, um, like money monthly to help them, like
Yeah, I heard about though. I think
right.
there was one in California.
Yeah, California. I think it was Stockton, and so there's another city that's doing it as well. But anyway, they have good results because they track these people what they're doing, and the vast majority of the families do well because everyone is like one paycheck away from like ruin, financial ruin. If your car breaks down, you have no money in the bank if you're paying a fortune for rent. So if your car breaks down, you can't even pay that, but you need your
Hmm.
car to try to get to work. Like it's just such a catch-22, and that little extra money helps people. And that's why it's like Republicans, I don't get it. Like why they are so hell bent on running with like the Mitch McConnells and the Josh Hawleys when they're not trying to help you, when Biden is saying, here is some help for you. I am
Hmm.
extending the tax credit for you. And we're going to start
Hmm.
in July, right?
Hmm.
So it's going to be $3,000. And starting in July, for each child that you have, you're getting money for them because I want to pull you out of poverty.
Hmm.
How?
Hmm.
Who's fighting that? Like,
Like, what's wrong with that?
right? How is that?
Why is
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, I don't got no boots because I can't afford them. Like, how am I pulling
right?
myself up? Like, what is going on? Oh, that's so awful. But we have to keep voting. That's
Yeah,
just the moral.
that's we have to it's we have to keep voting. We have to keep fighting. Um, like overall, his first 100 days in office, um, definitely has been a big relief. Of course, I mean, unfortunately, the bar is somewhat set low, but um, the efforts that Biden's going through and doing, getting the stimulus out there, getting over 200 million people vaccinated across the country, um, bringing out this family plan. Like
Hmm.
so far, things are good. Again, the fight doesn't stop. There's It's only the first 100 days. We got a
Right.
couple more years.
I mean, he's
And
done so much in the first 100 days. Like,
yeah.
we have vaccines. Like,
Yeah,
if he's done nothing else and he's done so much more, we're getting vaccinated. We're about to go back like into the office. We're going back to normal this
right. Hopefully
summer.
we could be in the same studio and give the
Yeah. I
people
mean,
an awesome
we
show. And
can, as soon as I get that second, we're good. But Baker's opening us up August 1st.
yeah, August 1st, everybody in the state
Yeah.
of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Um, again, if you haven't gotten your shot, please get it.
Yeah.
Um, just so that we can get back to normal. Even if you're healthy, you're not gonna get it. Just get it. It makes
Right.
everything so much easier. Um, I got mine. I'm healthy. I ain't got no third arm growing out the side of my head. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I did my first shot, my arm was sore like any shot that you get, like a flu shot. The second shot, I wasn't under the weather. Under the weather, I had maybe a headache, um, maybe a little more tired, but nothing too crazy. I'm still here. I'm kicking. I'm breathing. Like yo, if you can get it, it's just that simple. I mean, if you don't want to get it, it's definitely your choice. But to really, I mean, people want to get back. People want to walk down the street without no mask. Period. They don't need no mandate telling them. People just want to get out the house and go. And part of that, get vaccinated. That's is, you know, I'm not, do what you do, but things are getting better, but we definitely have to stay vigilant.
Right. I agree. And with that being said, we are doing good for time. We're probably
Yeah, we
gonna, you
killing
have
it.
anything else to say? Because I'm just gonna tell the people to keep voting because, you know, just we gotta vote. Keep voting. Keep. There are candidates out there that are fighting for their political lives. Sean Lasseter, Texas '06. Early voting is happening right now. The election is on Saturday, I believe. She
Oh,
needs
that's
donations going over to Sean Lasseter's Facebook page, Twitter, donate $5. She's trying to flip that Texas seat. It is happening right now. It is so imperative. She needs to keep making these goals for her to keep going. She has to keep
hmm
going if we want her to flip that seat. She's a
hmm
teacher. She teaches science. She's great. She's great. And all the other candidates, Brent going out there to Brent Heinrich as
yeah.
well.
He was in the chat. He was
Yeah.
lighting it up, yo.
Brent,
I
yeah.
seen everything. I couldn't
Yeah.
comment, but Brent,
Brent,
yeah,
yeah,
follow
Brent's in
him,
the
support
chat
him.
as well. Follow and support. He needs your support as well. All of these candidates, we're gonna do better at probably trying to highlight these guys so you know who they are, and maybe you too can donate a little money, a little extra of your child tax credit comes in. Take $5 from it.
Right.
So
Um,
anyway, that's all I have to say.
yeah, no, I definitely have to second that. It's all about support. Again, they can have the right message, they can be the right candidate, they can check all the right boxes, but if they don't have the funding or the support behind them, um, it's unfortunate the way the system is,
Right.
but it's a money machine,
Mhm.
and these candidates are going up against people who are funded by these corporations, you know, making sure that those people that are funded by the corporations do the corporation will, and that's making sure people don't get paid the right wages, making sure they don't unionize, making sure that they get the least amount of health care. Um, that we're not for that. We need people like Brent. You've seen Mr. Marcus Flowers on. You've seen Mr. Allen Ellison on. We need candidates like that represent the people um, in office. And though they're not in our state, the people in those states vote local.
Right.
So that's where you're going to get that change. That's where you're going to get that immediate change. Like Ms. Quest said earlier, if Keith wasn't in the AG, we wouldn't be where we're at right, because they would have someone in there who bends the knee to the cop unions, the white supremacy, because that's what it is. They don't want to be held accountable. You know, they can jiggle out of that and all that. Nah. They didn't get to do that this time, and we need more people like that. But that's all I got. That's all I got.
Me too. It was a great show.
Great show.
Usual
Thank you guys for
Suspects.
tuning in.
Yes,
Usual
Usual
Suspects.
Suspects. All of you guys. Brent, thank you. Adina, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Mary, thank you.
Mary, who else? Not Your Average Curls.
That's me. I got like so many names. That's
I'm
me.
looking like, okay. We got Miss Adina. We got Michelle with 2 L's and Michelle with 1 L. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Everybody in the chat. Jerry, thank you. Thank you. Everybody. Please like, share, subscribe. Yes. Share this video with your people in your circles so they can get this information about Mr. Marcus Flowers. So if they can donate to his campaign, or if you can, please do that. Again, we'll have all that information in the description after the show. See y'all next week.
Good weekend, guys. Be safe.
Good weekend.
Mask up, mask up, mask up.